back to another video from your boy bishopshattavlog. Right now I'm gonna call this from now on, since if it's something that I haven't officially played or had a hands-on demo of the particular games, I'm gonna start calling it my unofficial review. Basically, this is going based off of my general observation of other people's gameplays and anything like that. So we're gonna get started back to with something I tried to get done a long time ago, just didn't have time. So we're gonna try to knock it out. This would be basically the DLC versions of the last two semi-popular games, Devil May Cry and Metal Gear Rising. As you know, both games had their own form of DLC after the game's release. I am one of those guys that is not in favor of DLC, but not much we can do about it right now because too many people have bought into it, and if you don't like something, you're not supposed to, buy it, but people still buy it. So there's not much we can do at this point other than just give out reviews. Now my review is going to be based off of these two games, as other people would say, your opinion. We're going to first start off with Virgil's DLC, which also came with I believe the Bloody Palace, which just boggles the mind. I still don't understand why none of this was already in the game. Based off of what I have seen on these particular two DLC, I'll start with the Bloody Palace. Bloody Palace was pretty boring compared even to Devil May Cry 2. This was pretty lackluster. Not too many people talked about it. Not too many people was even impressed with it. And at this point, based off of this game, it wasn't even a saving grace. It was just one of those things that we had to see, and it was just like, what is this? You guys could have did way better. I understand there are people who accepted the DLC for what it was, but this is something that you're paying separate for, and you're not getting much out of it. That's letting you know that you really should stop supporting certain DLCs, and this is a prime example. This is something that's been in every single Devil May Cry game, and then they just took it out. That's ridiculous. I really don't have too much to say about Bloody Palace because, to be perfectly honest, it's nothing like the other ones. They're not nearly as fun. It's not even on, like I said, it's not even on Devil May Cry 2 level. So that's letting you know this is very lackluster. It's boring compared to like something like Devil May Cry 4, which pretty much really expanded upon what the very first Bloody Palace was. It's like, why would you digress at this point? But there's already the whole game has already been digressed from the beginning, so there's not much you can do at this point. So I'll go to the next step, which is just go ahead and talk about Virgil's DLC. The sad part is, this is probably the only thing I liked about Devil May Cry, period, and that would be the animation. That was actually pretty good. I didn't think it was something that was needed. It was just it's kind of like a fresh take out on something, but when you really think about it, the whole DLC is almost like it was done like a side story to lead on to what the game should have been instead of what it became, because Virgil started off evil in the other ones, and then this one he's supposed to be good, then he turned healed. It's just ridiculous. It really is. This one, it seemed it was starting to start off good with like I said, with the animation cutscenes, and then you completely lost me with the hollow version of Virgil. That was bad, and I can show you a clip of one of the guys' gameplay that it's laughable. After you see that, it's just like, what were these guys thinking? Okay, then you try to get us to buy even more stuff from you, and then here we go with this crap. It's just bad. It really is. There's nothing much you can really say about this game. Sitting here continuously, beating a dead horse, I'm not trying to do that. I'm just trying to let you know that this pretty much didn't do anything. it kind of developed Virgil's story a little bit more based on their version, but compared to all the other versions of Virgil, come on, man, just stop.
Virgil, por favor.
¡Tú no te metas!
Just stop. But after all that's said and done, what I can really base off of these DLCs for Devil May Cry as a overall, I would have to give it a 6 out of 10. It was pretty sloppy. Even how Virgil, his actions are poor. His is actually more mediocre than Dino. I just, when you still have to compare these games for what they are and where they came from and what they originated to, you always got to be as good as the last. You know, like one guy was telling me when he plays chess, he said, I'm only as good as my last game. If I played shitty, then I'm a shitty player. If I played really well, then I'm a good player. So right now, I can't say that about Devil May Cry as a game and as a DLC. It's just there's nothing that we can say from this game at this point. It's a done deal. It just really is. Moving on to Metal Gear Rising, we got actually 2 DLCs with this one as well. I'm not going to include the free one because that one's just VR missions. That's just, you know, I'll keep that out. This is going to be mainly about Jetstream, Sam, and Blade Wolf. I'll start off with Jetstream. But Jetstream, this was actually pretty fun. Even for me to watch it, it was just like, man, I can't wait to play this. And right now I am waiting to play it because I'm going to get the collector's edition. Hopefully they can put all this DLC on one disc and we can take it from there. This kills me about when I try to compare Metal Gear Rising to Devil May Cry. A lot of people try to say that Devil May Cry had a deeper mechanic, you know, combat systems than something like Metal Gear Rising. I'm like, are you serious? Like, come on, man. Even if you say that it's deeper, that doesn't necessarily mean it's better. This one was, it could be bare bones and it's still better than Devil May Cry. So what are you talking about? Especially when you look at what Sam can do. A lot of this stuff was excellent. There's nothing that I really didn't have much complaints about. Then he could taunt too. Oh man. So it's just like, come on, man. You've already did exactly what every action game needed. A lot of people did complain that Raiden didn't have a taunt, but after seeing Sam, it's just like, man. Now I kind of wish that Kojima made a prequel. You know, like a prequel. Like we can actually get more development from all the other characters like Mistral and Monsoon. Which are all these characters are probably one of the most popular characters immediately from a Metal Gear game. Not too many people were hyped about other characters, but these bosses, yeah, a lot of people, especially on Tumblr, love these characters. They really do. And I had to side with them. You know, my favorite character is Mistral, and she's just awesome. And especially, I'll get back to her later on. But back with Jet. Even his boss battle, having to fight the Senator again, which in this case would be the first time, that shit was just awesome. And I liked how they changed up a few things. The only complaint that I really had about all of the DLCs coming from that shared with, you know, Blade Wolf and Jetstream Sound, they didn't give us new environments. You know, that did kind of suck. And if they didn't want to give us new environments, they should have changed it up enough that it felt different instead of just kind of going through the same environments all over again. Kind of like a Devil May Cry 4 scenario. Just because you flip the scene doesn't mean it's a different place. You know what I'm saying? But other than that, I really don't have any complaints about the characters, the actions, the story. It just makes you fall in love with the characters all over again. I just wish that it could have been longer, just like the entire game. That's probably one of the problems with Metal Gear Rising. It wasn't long enough. I still think that it's long, but it still could have been long enough that you can tell that this game was rushed, especially when you start looking deeper at the DLCs, at what you can do, what you can't do, and how it's broken up into pieces. Which brings me to Blade Wolf. Blade Wolf was probably the most disappointing DLC out of all, especially for the fact that you had to pay for it. I'm glad that the VR missions were free, even though those were cool, but this Blade Wolf, you get to play as the downgraded Blade Wolf, not the upgraded Blade Wolf, and I thought that's what this was going to be about. And if we could play as upgraded Blade Wolf, that should have been a saving grace right there. That would have made this DLC probably even better than Sam's, if you could play as the upgraded one. But this is his weaker form. He really didn't have as many moves, but he was still ill. And I like the fact that they let him sneak around and kind of go back to what Metal Gear Rising was all about, you know, sneaking around, killing people, or well, in this case, you had to kill people. The other Metal Gear Risings, you didn't have to, unless you wanted to fight certain people at the end of the game. But other than that, the final boss was refreshing, but he was predictable. Even for a person that wasn't even playing it, I kind of still could just telegraph what he was going to do next after seeing him do it once, because he kept doing it. So it's just like, ah man, come on. You could have did a little bit better with this boss battle. That's how I know, unfortunately, this game was rushed. It just was. Great character, hilarious at a certain point, but unfortunately he just wasn't he wasn't fleshed out enough for us to even just say that he was a character. He was just kind of there, just kind of like a filler character. But after all that's said and done, I'll have to break it down to what my pros and cons. I'll put like a list of what that is. We can break that down right here, right now. Okay, well, you guys, that's pretty much it. That's all I have for this review. I hope you enjoyed it. This is probably one of my shorter vids, and I'm hoping I can keep it like this. Peace out.
Hello, in this tutorial, how to be ninja. First, got your drum can, mostly fresh. Douse liberally with the gravity, then rock overside. Here strutting down the man, what for the target? Next gen soldiers practice drum can atheism. Don't believe it, don't take stock in it. Now sometime you may overroll. You may feel a slight disgrace, but keep calm and scurry on, tater. Hello. Drum cans are preternatural allies in combat worthy of the Lord. Now cyborgs are hyper-theologically numb to the holy blood work of sword evangelism. Introduce the deluge of gravity that is the wages of cyber sin, and you've fulfilled the blade Eucharist needed to be ninja. Now go, beloved. Take your drum canny reward and bring the word to the streets. This is James at Legion on the SelectButton.net forums. We're going to look at the drum can in Metal Gear Rising here. Here we see that it works great as a perpetual motion machine when grinding against a background object. In Rising, only Monsoon and Armstrong successfully pitch architecture great distances, and the drum can is a third. The box lacks such power as of now. We need more box rush in this game. Clearly we're dealing with a pacifist cardboard box. A box of peace. A box whose corrugated dream is only to hold canned goods or perhaps demo-worthy watermelons. Hopefully future revisions of Rising will reawaken the box to its box rush legacy from Metal Gear Online and Peace Walker. Fortunately, the drum can tide us over. It is a Katamari of Thanatos and Chaos. Consider the following. Behold the effect of its steel rim against a PMC grade APC. Entering the can and leaning forward shatters urban lights of finished design. Its merciless forward bow brings calamity to the tame Denver cedars. The can bullies its way into treasuries, looting what goods may lie therein. Truly the drum can is Metal Gear Rising's sleeping giant. Here's how to use it. On PS3, press the L1 button to ready the drum can, then press R1 to lean forward. Now Raiden can start rolling. Falling hits do the same damage as rolling hits. This is a good way to destroy environmental objects without slicing. It can also be a strategy for a low-ranking, if otherwise challenging, non-lethal run. The drum can will scatter objects not fixed to the ground, such as these crates and the canopy from before. Objects fixed to the ground, such as this police car, will go to their next phase of damage. In this instance, it's Flame and Despair. Perhaps this is no ordinary drum can, but a high-frequency drum can that shares affinity with Raiden's blade. Once Raiden goes into Ripper mode, its destructive power significantly increases. But that's just one hit! This could prove interesting for future messing around with the drum can and Revengeance, so we're going to look at a comparison between normal drum can use and the Ripper mode drum can. In normal mode, Raiden has to fall on this armored personnel carrier 6 times before it gains access to either APC Heaven or APC Hell, depending on the specific content of its doctrine and belief. Once Raiden enters Ripper mode, the subtle 6 times touch of the dormant high-frequency drum becomes an Indian burn straight from the devil himself. In conclusion, everything presented in this video is true.